Good morning!
Good morning, everyone. She's got another song for you.
Of course I do.
I'm really sorry. But now you guys know what I deal with on the daily.
Your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happens in the scary back? That's what
happens. We
Back.
dance. Well,
We
she
dance.
dances to all your pets.
We might sing Disney songs.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's scary stuff that we do in the treatment area of our hospital. Oh, goodness. So, but why that song today?
So today we are talking about obesity
In pets.
Yes.
We're not going to talk about ourselves. It's fine.
No.
Mhm.
But here's the thing. I have thumbs, and I can go in the pantry and get. Who's got two
Who
thumbs?
has two thumbs? Who
I
has
could
two
go-
thumbs and a measuring cup? This guy.
So you can measure your pet's food, and they don't have thumbs,
They don't have thumbs.
so they can't go get themselves a snack.
Yeah.
I
They
can.
They can't
So,
order Panera
yeah.
for breakfast and lunch today either.
That's right. Yeah.
You know.
So this is one of my big topics that I like discussing because it really upsets me when animals come in and they're overweight because it's an easy fix most of the time. You know, unless there's some underlying health issue,
Right.
it's mainly our fault.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, in all reality, your pets can't go get themselves food. They can't. They can look at you and give a sad face, and you're like, oh, well, they're really hungry.
Yeah.
But we're really causing more problems giving in to them every time they look at us with a sad face.
Yes.
And you know, they get used to eating 2 meals a day.
Yeah.
And they're okay with it.
They do good.
So it hurts me
Yeah.
when I see them come in and they're huge. Because there's no reason for it. And
Right.
it costs more money for you to feed them more food than it does to just put them on a diet, get them to lose some weight. And, you know, a lot of the medications that we use here are specific to their weight. So if they're an extra 10, 15 pounds, which sounds like a lot, but in a big dog, I mean, they can be that overweight. It's definitely possible.
Yes.
So that's my...
That's your soapbox.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I am more than happy to talk to people about how to get your pet to lose weight.
Yeah.
So tell us some about the health.
I was going to ask you that.
Oh.
But
So,
now I can talk about it. You go for it. You go.
Okay.
You go. You love this topic.
I do. And you know, most of the videos, they hear you talk enough.
Exactly. Everybody's tired of hearing me talk.
That's right. I just kind of sit here and
look
I
pretty.
listen.
Yeah.
I'm just here for moral support.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, especially in older dogs, arthritis,
Yes.
you know, they have a higher chance of blowing out one of their knees. Especially in the pitties.
Yeah,
that we
and the
love,
labs.
and the labs, yeah.
Boxers.
Yeah. So it's really hard on their joints. It's hard on, you know, their knees when they get older, their hips. And then it goes back to medication. So we're going to put them on some sort of like anti-inflammatory and pain control for that.
Yeah.
Which, if they're overweight, you're spending more if they need a higher dose. In cats, you have a high chance of them becoming diabetic.
Yes.
Which is another thing. You know, we do this to them. So I feel like when they become diabetic, it's our responsibility to take care of them. But that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. I mean, not everybody can, but yeah, it is something that's unfortunately it's
But everyone
generally
can cut back on
preventable.
food.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
It
you
is,
can.
So, you know, if you don't have the money to treat the problems, cool. But there's things that can be done to at least reduce the risk that your pet's going to have those problems, if not eliminate it entirely. So, yeah, and cats too can get arthritis. Same sort of thing. They get arthritis in their hips and that. So, that's a big thing. So then they're living their lives in pain, which is not cool. Not cool at all. Especially like Crystal said, you know, to feed them appropriately actually saves money. So there's really no good reason to overfeed your pets. Why? What is it doing for you? Nothing. It's wasting your dollars and costing you more later. So, and we see, especially like the arthritic dogs, and that, well, okay, so the arthritis is already set in, but they're 10 pounds overweight. Well, now it's extra hard to get that weight off of them because exercise isn't a great option. So we're looking at just diet. And we wanted, so this came from a video that we saw, and I'll link to the video.
Oh, yeah.
We'll give credit where credit is due because it's hilarious. And I'm sure it'll be funnier than the way we're going to do it.
But I hope he sees it.
But he's a vet tech, I think in Georgia somewhere. But yeah, so he was talking about feeding your pets and what it means when we say to feed your pet a cup of food. This
is a cup.
Is a cup. That is 1 cup. It is a measuring cup. It is 8 ounces. Is a cup. That's not a cup. I don't even know how many of those fit in there. Probably at least 2.
Oh, at least.
If not 3. That's not a cup. That's probably at least 2. That's probably like 4 or 5. Yeah, my little tumbler is what, 4, I think?
There's 4 of these.
Yeah.
Like this is not a cup.
This is not a cup.
If you're using a QT cup,
a QT cup is not a cup.
It's 4 of these.
A coffee mug, not a cup. This is at least, I mean, this is a giant one.
Yeah.
But regular coffee mugs even are at least probably 1.5 to 2 cups. So we have a ton of these for free.
More than happy for you to
and I bet if we used them all up, I bet that Purina would be more than happy to get us some more. So if you need a cup, if you need 3 cups,
you just come on in and see me.
Just come on in. Tell Crystal you want to put your pet on a diet.
Yeah.
And we can, and that's something else that we can help with. So I know there's a lot of people, you look at the back of the bag. Everybody looks at the back of the bag for figuring out how to feed their pets. And that's a good starting place. That's not always correct for your pet. Just like in people, there are people that can eat whatever the heck they want and never gain an ounce. I'm not one of those people. Amy's one of those people. Yeah, she's candy all day long.
Yeah.
And,
she was just eating some birthday
Kit
Kat.
Yeah, but yeah, for most people, they can't do that. And so, you know, everybody has different metabolic needs for their calorie intake, and it's based on, you know, them as an individual, and it's based on their activity level. So, you know, while the back of the bag is a great place to start, that's not the be all end all. Do not freak out if your animal is eating less than what it says on the back of the bag, because also those recommendations typically come from what the highest caloric need is for what that food is intended to feed. So if you look on the bags, it'll say something along the lines of, this food has been tested or formulated and found to be appropriate for feeding, and it lists off different things. Growing animals, adult animals, pregnant and lactate, you know, it might have all of those, it may just have one, you know, something along those lines. And so whoever needs the most calories, that's where it's going to typically, that chart kind of comes from. So, you know, somebody that's like an animal that's pregnant and lactating, they're going to have a much higher calorie need than your couch potato 8-year-old lab. And so if you feed them to the back of the bag, well, that's too much. So again, great starting place, but what we like to look at, and we should have printed that off too, a body condition score chart.
Yeah.
So what we look at when we decide, because you can't either. You can't say, well, I have a lab. What is he supposed to weigh?
Every lab is different.
I don't know. Have you seen labs? They come in all different sizes. Some of them are really, really big, you know, and they should be 100 pounds. And there's other ones that should only be like 50 pounds. So I don't know what your lab should weigh if you just tell me you have a lab. But let me look at your dog. Let me look at what weight they are currently, and let me look at their body condition. So body condition score is based on basically how much fat are they carrying. So what does an ideal animal look like, Crystale?
So they're pretty slim. You can usually see the last couple ribs, and you want them to have a nice tiny waist.
So you should, when you look at them from above or from the side, you should see that little abdominal tuck, that waist, little hourglass figure situation. So if you're not seeing that, if they are a straight line, that's too much. They got some love handles. If you have to push to feel those ribs, they're too heavy. And not that we want to see every rib because that's too thin. Same thing, we shouldn't see the entire spine sticking out or the hip bone sticking out. That's too skinny. But it's not common that we see that problem.
Right. Well, I
it's
think,
mostly obesity.
And a lot of times, people are just accustomed to seeing fat dogs now. So you think that it's normal. I know my grandparents, I have a little chihuahua, and every time he goes over there, they're like, oh, you can feel his ribs. You need to fatten him up. And I'm like, no, he's actually a little too fat right now. Like my 6-pound chihuahua is on a diet because he gained a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
So people are just accustomed to seeing that big boxy
I've
figure.
heard from other clients too. Maybe their dog comes in and looks, but like that body condition score is perfect. It's right where it should be, and they're like, I'm just worried. I think he needs to gain weight. Everybody tells me he's too skinny, and I'm like, no, that's what a lab is supposed to look like. People just are not accustomed. They're used to seeing all these fat ones, and so they think that that's what's normal. And while that is what's common, that is not what is healthy. So and that's part of why I think we see all these different health conditions like ACL tears. We call them CCL tears, but basically torn ligaments in the knee, hip issues, arthritis, diabetes, all those things. That's why we see all that stuff, is because people don't realize what is normal for their pet. And that's too. So when we're trying to look at the body condition score, and we typically will ask you, well, what are you feeding? Because there's a wide variation in calorie content of foods
and treats.
And treats.
Treats count.
I think when I looked up how many calories were in a bully stick, I won't say what I think it was, but it was, because it was probably wrong. But it was a lot. It was a lot. Like I think for whatever, I think it was a pitty or a lab sized, something that size dog, that was eating a full bully stick per day, every day. And that was, I think, at least a third to a half of what his daily calorie intake should have been. So those sorts of things, anything that they can ingest. So I'm not talking like if they chew on a tennis ball. Okay, well, you're not going to ingest a tennis ball. Hopefully that's a whole different issue. But there's no calories in a tennis ball, so that's different. But if they're eating, rawhide, which you don't usually recommend, or pig's ears, which you don't usually recommend it, or the bully sticks and whatever else they
dental
have,
treats,
the dental chews, all of that. Yeah, every treat that they get counts. And so, having an idea of what they're actually taking in, and then factor that into, okay, what do they look like? Are they overweight? Are they underweight? If they're over, how much over? And then we can start formulating, okay, where do we think that this individual needs to be at calorie intake wise? And based on the food that you're feeding and the treats and things like that, because we don't want to ruin all their fun. We just have to factor those things in. But we need to come up with what the calorie intake should be, calculate that so that we can tell you how many of those little cups, wherever it went, Crystal lost it, there it is, how many cups of food.
This is a cup.
This is a cup.
Not this.
This is not a cup. So we can factor that in and tell you how much they need to be feeding. And some animals need to go like real big diet, like prescription diets, super low calorie, things that are formulated for weight loss. That's sometimes the thing that we need to do. But most of the time, I would say we can probably get some pounds off of them by just feeding them their current food in an appropriate amount. Usually.
Yeah. We want to do that gradually. It's not, we don't want them to lose 20 pounds in a week.
Yeah, especially for cats.
Yeah.
Really obese cats, if they lose too much weight too quickly, that can cause some liver issues. So it's always, especially for cats, very, good idea to contact your veterinarian about, a diet plan for them so that they're losing an appropriate amount, but not too much, because we don't want to cause other issues for them.
Right.
But if they weren't fat in the first place, that wouldn't be a thing.
Well, true. But sometimes, we understand maybe a family member died. It was an older person,
Sure.
and they like to feed their animals what they're eating.
Yeah.
So, maybe you've taken in this animal, or maybe you one day woke up and you looked at your dog and realized how overweight they are.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I've done that.
Yeah. You don't see the gradual weight gain sometimes.
And
So
then you're like, oh my goodness.
where did that come
Where did
from?
that come
That's
Well.
what happens when I wake up and look in the mirror.
That's right. Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa. But yeah, so it's
So
yeah,
come
it's
in,
all
talk to us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think that it's funny.
It's not. Yeah, it's not cute. It's not
Yeah.
funny.
It's a problem, and it's something we
It's
definitely need to
bad.
get under
Yeah,
control.
it's real bad. And we're, if your pet's weight has gotten away from you, it happens. I mean, that's cool, and we'll be fully supportive of helping you. When you get to that place where you're like, you know what, now is the time that they need to lose some pounds. So yeah, we will be 100% supportive of you for that. We'll help you in any way that we can, give you all the tips and tricks that we've used maybe for our own pets or that have worked for other clients in the past. Because not the same thing works for everybody. It's sometimes you have to do different strategies, and that maybe you have multiple pets, and so that can be a challenge, especially when you have cats. You have multiple cats and one is overweight and the other ones are not. But there's ways around that. Yeah, and we can help you with all those things. So.
And you can bring your pets in. We can weigh them. We can do something like that. Another thing with people getting new puppies lately.
Yeah.
I would like to mention, don't free feed them.
Yeah.
Start them young, where they're getting 2 meals a day. Now, if you have a really teeny tiny puppy that needs to eat 3 times a day, that's fine. But I don't like leaving the food out all day. It causes some more issues. People say, well, my pet won't eat if I'm not there. They will learn to eat. When they get hungry enough and they haven't had the food all day, they will learn to eat that meal when it's given to them. And there's different ways of teaching them. Even if you have an older dog, maybe 5 or 6 or 8 or 9, there's ways of teaching them that now.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely beneficial to meal feed rather than free feeding.
Yeah. I mean, that's our recommendation for any pets, is to meal feed them no matter what.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because then, when they get older and you don't know if they're eating or not, because you fill the bowl up when it's empty, so they come in and they're sick or not doing so good, we're like, okay, well, when did they eat last?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just fill the bowl.
Yeah.
So there's different benefits to that as well. It's not just for weight, but
Definitely.
Yeah.
I agree.
You got anything else?
I think that's it. You got anything else?
I don't think so.
You're off your soapbox now.
Yeah. Come in and talk to me.
That's right. She'll help you out.
I will. You got to tell me though if you're in a hurry.
Why?
Girl, you can't be talking that much. Like, try this.
Yeah. Being thorough.
Yeah. You want me to call you like once a week? Let me know.
Yeah.
Keep you on schedule.
That's right.
You want to
Like
bring
an
them in?
accountability buddy.
Yeah.
It's like Weight Watchers.
Yeah. Bring them on in for a weight check.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Overfeeders Anonymous.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if we got enough people in that wanted their pets to lose weight, we could do like a Biggest Loser challenge.
Oh, we definitely, yeah.
But we want it to be safe. Don't
Right.
like stop feeding
Don't
your pet
stop feeding them.
altogether.
Yeah, that's bad.
But yeah, I mean, if people are interested in something like that, definitely let me know. You can call up here or send me an email. It's Crystal at premierpetcarestl.com, or you can send our clinic an email. But how do you feel about that? You good? I just kind of sprung that out.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
It's cool.
Do like a weight loss challenge.
Yeah.
If we get 5 people that are interested in it.
Okay.
We'll start it.
We'll do some, we'll come up with some kind of prize, something.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can
Maybe
find something.
next Wednesday, if we do another Facebook Live, we can announce if we've gotten 5 people who are interested in it.
Yeah.
That means
good.
they would have to watch the whole 20-minute video to hear this part, but we're pretty cool, so maybe they will.
All right, then. All right, guys. Well, until next week, measure your pet's food with a cup. With a cup. Miss you.
There it is.
Bye.